All right, I'm going to turn it over to Kristen to get us started.
All right. All right, welcome all middle school staff. We are excited to get to meet with you today and provide an update on our journey into Blackboard Ultra, and then also to dig into some key efficiency and building features that are available to teachers. Just as a little bit of a recap, we know we are in phase 2 of our transition. Last year saw us move into phase 1, which was when we moved into base navigation, and that gave us a cleaned up look and a streamlined interface. Phase 2 also includes the transition of Blackboard Classic courses into Blackboard Ultra courses. So for this year, you will be able to live in a dual environment. And that means your classic classes are still operational and they will remain operational for this year. But you also have the ability to transition those classes or to start transitioning those classes to Ultra classes, in addition to just starting to build an Ultra courses in and of themselves. Phase 3 of this whole move to Blackboard Ultra will begin with the end of the 24-25 school year. That's the end of this year, where we will phase out our classic courses and we will fully transition into the Ultra environment. That means for the start of next year, all courses will be operating in Blackboard Ultra and classic courses will no longer function. So that's where we are headed and moving forward and projecting for you today. Our session today is going to cover briefly some key components that we think are going to be really important for you to know. So we're going to go through very briefly about how you create your Blackboard classes using the Blackboard scheduler. We are going to review with you how you have the ability to do some of that personalizing and base navigation, kind of what it looks like, where it feels like, where you can find those buttons that you're used to being in different places with the classic courses. We are going to show you how to apply some classroom layouts and some banners. We're going to get you into the basic building blocks of building content in Ultra. We are going to show you, and this is an important piece for folks who have a lot built in Blackboard already, but we're going to show you how to copy content over. And finally, we're going to show you how to access those course shells. Let's talk a little bit about the why of Blackboard and why we are seeing a reemergence of this resource that we've had in our system for quite some time now. So Blackboard's a tool whose instructional purpose is to ensure the gradual release of responsibility and lead our students to that independence. One of the reasons why we keep coming back to Blackboard as our learning management system is that it does create that transparency in our system for all stakeholders. That means clarity for district and traveling personnel. It means easy co-planning and co-teaching with folks from different areas. And additionally, this is the only tool in the district that provides parent guardian access via a single login with no additional codes. Okay, so Google Classroom, you have to put in additional codes per class. All of our digital platforms with curriculum inside of them are all behind a paywall, and that means our parents don't have credentials to get into those. So Blackboard really is that one-stop shop for all stakeholders in our system. It creates that transparency for special educators and classroom supports, coordinators, coaches, teaching and learning. With everything in one spot, we save a lot of time not having to look for and find things that should be clearly organized. That being said, it also helps teachers to have clear organization of coursework in their classes and to make sure that students have what they need 24/7. So whether a student is in your physical classroom or they are at home working on coursework for your course, Blackboard really becomes the extension of the four walls that you have here. And so anything they could access in your classroom should also be accessible in your Blackboard courses. Finally, Avid encourages student independence. Yet if we don't have a place where they can be independent and access the resources that we need them to for assignments, for research, and for any of those things, they're always dependent on the adult in the room. And that's not what we want. We want our students taking on that ownership and really owning their learning and their active participation in your classroom.
Good morning, everybody. So we're going to get into our Blackboard courses here in just a moment, but we want to just hit a timeline piece and something that we've put into place for you to participate. If you've done any professional development with our team, you know, we tend to aim for something that's a little bit more hands-on. And so while you can passively sit and watch what we're doing today, that's fine. We've actually created a space for you to go ahead and get started with your own Blackboard Ultra course that wouldn't impact any of your other courses. One of the realities of our timeline this year is that we have some individuals in our face-to-face who are going to stay in the classic look. We have some individuals who are going to be in the new sandbox or the new Blackboard Ultra courses. And so what we wanted to do is create a space where everybody could try what we're showing you today in that Blackboard Ultra environment classes. So you're going to find your new courses under the courses tab, and your last name will be in the title of that course. So you'll be able to find that. Is it exploration or is it sandbox? Is that our titles? Looking at that here. Okay. It's going to look like this. Oh yeah, thanks. Yep. So it's going to look like this. It's going to say Blackboard Ultra dash and then your name in it. And that's what you're going to search. One of the nice functions of our Blackboard Ultra environment. Oh, you're okay. Just getting things out of my way here. Is okay. One of the nice functions of this is the ability to do a quick search. So under classes, you can go in and do a quick search and be able to find that course that you're looking for. Okay. All right. With that said, what we are going to do is we're just going to do a really quick rundown of your individual class and how you can do some basic navigation pieces, and also just talk once more about this left-hand column here. So when we come into the Ultra interface, which is what I'm in right now, we are able to jump into that institution page. You'll be brought to that at the onset. Just to point this out to you, there is a graphic there. If you're still in the process of setting up your Blackboard courses, you would create your new courses via the intranet. You'd go into the modify, the Blackboard scheduler modify if you had old courses that you need to get content out of. You can also use this link here to access any of those course shells, or what we're now going to call masters, course masters, because you may need to get some new content there. And so this will walk you through that process. Another important piece that we just want to bring to everybody's attention is this profile page. So the profile page here is along the left-hand side as that person icon with your name. One thing we really want to encourage everybody to do, and you can do this right now, is if you hover over the picture, if there isn't a picture of you there, if it's just kind of a gray outline, you can click on that profile and upload a different picture. Strongly recommend you do a picture of yourself. I know not everybody loves to see a picture of themselves in these spaces, but remember, this is a place where parents and guardians can figure out who their teachers are. For that new student who's coming in who doesn't know who you are yet, this is a way for you to introduce yourself facially to them. Just a great way for even people like us when they come to work in your classroom to just know who we're working with. So uploading a picture instead of some sort of a graphic that doesn't represent you would be wise. All right, we're going to slide on down to the classes area here. It's this one right here. Okay. All right. All right. So now that we are into the classes area, slide into this. We're just going to talk about a couple of things on this part before Brianna gets into building. We're going to talk about customizing your class banner, making it personal to you, the center navigation, and then the top navigation areas. Let's start with the banner. Everybody likes a good banner, makes our classes look that, more personal to us and the subjects that we teach. So when we come into a course where an Ultra course where we are the teachers, we can click on this little pencil icon here, and then we can go and grab images. Now, if you are somebody who, for instance, uses Canva, which is available to us through ClassLink, you can go in and create your own class banners here. Or if you're somebody who would like to just use maybe some of the stock images from Unsplash, you can go and grab and search for the things that you're looking for. I won't change yours right now, but select that and then customize it to just the right size. Do you know what the banner sizes are? 1240 by something. A good Google search will get you to what the appropriate banner size is for Ultra, but it's 1240 by, I want to say 6. 400 or 600. Either way, you'll just crop on down to the size that you want if that's important to you and you're customizing your own. But it's much easier than it used to be, and you can change them regularly if you need to here. Another change that we want to just outline within the Blackboard Ultra classes, if you're used to those traditional or classic looking classes, our navigation was always along the left-hand side and the content displayed in the center. It's important to note now, your content is going to display down the middle of that page. And our class tools here will look just a little bit different for students, but will be on the far left-hand side in the upper area. You may not necessarily love that look at the onset, but you have to remember that this tool is really devised to work on mobile devices, tablets, phones, things like that, the way that most people interact with these courses. And so that center of content is important for the mobile device being accessible in all places. The last part that we want to outline for you here, the tools now that are across the top of your Blackboard Ultra course. So there's the calendar. There are announcements. You'll also notice there are messages. Let's just briefly talk about the differences between the two. An announcement is what pops up as a banner for the students when they come into the Blackboard class itself. It can also be seen in the announcements tab for students when they come in. But announcements are for largely everybody that's in the class. And it's just things you need to know. Don't forget your homework this week, or, we've got a guest speaker coming in, something like that. Messages, on the other hand, are something that you can pinpoint to an individual student, a small group of students, and it functions a little bit more like an email would function. So just a slight difference in those two. We've got discussions in gradebook as we get further into that. And then, of course, you can set up your own custom groups. Another really nice feature of the Blackboard Ultra interface is simply the analytics. Being able to see who's accessed, what missed due dates are there, hours in class, as it relates to anything in Blackboard. So that's a function that will increasingly become more popular for you as we look forward in learning more about Blackboard Ultra. I'm going to turn over to Brianna.
All right. So at this point, if you are not already building with us, we do encourage you to go to your Blackboard site to log in and to find that course that looks something like what you saw at the beginning. So it would look something similar to this guy here. So there's some things that are already populated in it, and we're going to talk about how you can build each of these different items, as well as some of the most popular or more frequently used items. So the first thing that you're going to see in here, the only item that you can get in the center stream with any sort of visual representation or graphic is a learning module. So all of these that you see right here are learning modules. To create a learning module and to really create any of our items in Blackboard, you're going to find the little plus. It hovers between items. We'll select the plus button, click create, and then we're going to choose a learning module. When I choose a learning module, I get the option up at the top to title it. I can add a description if I'd like. A really great use of this would be for essential targets or essential questions, something that you might be covering in the unit, whatever that might be. Add in your description. And then if you scroll down, you have the ability to add that image. So when I click on the add image button, similar to how you change it with the banner, you can choose to upload from your device. Maybe you are uploading something from a previous class, from Canva, whatever it might be. You have your stock images from Unsplash, where it will generate some generic images for you. And then you also have generate images. These are the AI generative images. For the sake of time, I am not going to do this one just because it does take a little bit while longer to load those generative images. But by all means, please feel free to play around and see what it comes up with for you. So I'll go ahead and I will pick a picture and drop it in. All right, when I click save, you can see that my module now exists in that center stream. The next thing we are going to do is a document. So I can create this outside of my module or within. If I want to create it within, I'll tap to open, click the plus button, and click create. From here, I have a document. We're going to avoid this Google document button right here, right now. This document feature is a remnant from us living in that dual environment. We do have a way to expedite that Google embed feature, but we are going to just focus on the document right here. So when I click that open, I have my title up at the top. From here, I can pick any number of things that I would like to add in, whether that is content, HTML uploads from something like YouTube, a file upload from my computer, cloud upload, or the content collection. We're going to stick with content today. In here, this is my rich text editor. From here, I have the ability to change my text style, font size, and color, all of my normal text formatting features. As well as I can put in links, I can attach different files to it. And then when I click the image, obviously images from our device, / or those generative images. And then the plus button is where we can add in a lot of those other features that we are familiar with from Blackboard Classic. So you have your math editor, you have images from a URL, media, YouTube videos, all of those are within here. Something that is still relatively new to us is as I add more content, within the last, I would say, what was it, a month, not even, we have seen the development of this drag and drop formatting change. So now I have the ability, using the little 6 dots, if I hover over my options, I am now able to put text side by side or images side by side. I have the ability to adjust how big I want different things. So a little bit of a new feature for us as we are still kind of navigating the process as well, but knowing that that is there and available for you. I'm going to save it. Save button right up here. There we go. And now you can see my document is nested under my module. Blackboard Ultra is really drag and drop. So if I decide that I build it in here and I don't want it in there later, I can very quickly drag it out or do the opposite and decide I want it in and drag it back in. The next thing we're going to do is that Google document. We know that Google Docs are a very big portion, or Google Slides and Google Sheets sometimes are a very big portion of our online learning or our space. So we are going to go to the content market, the one with the little shopping cart. So it's the plus button, content market. And then if I scroll down, I'm looking for the third Google option. So not these first two, but this third one. And I'm not going to click on the item itself. I have spent many a time trying to figure out what I did wrong by clicking on the item itself. We are going to click on the little plus button in the bottom corner. So when you click on the little plus button, it kicked out this icon here with the little rocket ship. To edit the name of this or to add the file in, I'm going to click on it once. And it's going to prompt me to say, okay, who are you? Is this you? What do you want from your drive in? I'll click add. It's going to notify you that it's changing your sharing access. And now it has embedded those slides in my space. To change the title, so you don't have many Google Drive file embed tools, you'll click on the 3 dots on the side, click edit, and then you'll be able to say what you would like it to be with a description as well. Save, and there it is for you. So now what that looks like from there. There you go. Other things that you could do in here would be the file uploads and HTML and those layout changes as we have talked about. Lastly, it's going to be copying content. So we have the Blackboard shells, which Brian has already talked to you about, but also if you are a teacher in multiple courses, for example, if you were a teacher of your old course and you want to put content in from a new course, or you're teaching 2 sections where you want to copy the introduction over from one to another, you can copy content by going to the 3 dots in the top corner, click import content. So 3 dots, click copy items. And then from here, you can pick whichever class you would like. Let's say I want to pull something in from this class of mine, and you can very easily select what you would like to bring over and what you would like to leave out. Click start copy, and it will go ahead and pull that information in for you at the bottom there. And there it is. So that's the basics of building. We know that this was kind of a lot right at the get-go, but this is the basics of how we start. So you now have something to start working with in your Sandbox course.
So it's just important, I know I didn't say this earlier, but that sandbox course is yours to play with. It will go away at some point. I'm guessing we'll probably have a shelf life of about a year or maybe a little bit longer until everybody's in their Blackboard courses with Ultra up and running. So please don't put anything that's essential in there or something that you'd be nervous to lose. Make sure you have those available somewhere else as well. But it is a great place to just get started without impacting. You can try things. If it doesn't work out, you start fresh, delete it. It's not a big deal. With that, we just want to talk finally about the Blackboard checklist. If this image looks mildly familiar, you've been in our district for a few years, because this is actually what we used the last time we had an all-in focus on Blackboard, and it was a Blackboard checklist. The goal of this is to really help educators understand what is expected of me when we talk about putting content in my Blackboard course. Those expectations do come from a district expectation, but also come from a building expectation. And that ongoing conversation about what's in your Blackboard course, what should be in your Blackboard course, is a great administrative conversation to have at your EE sessions, can be a great goal to set. But one of the things that will help guide you through that is this Blackboard Checklist 2.0. It's something that you will receive from your administrative team, and they'll give you a little bit more information around it. But it's important to understand, this is not us saying that Google Classroom is gone and done, and you'll never use it again. It is us saying that we need to be transparent with the content and resources that we put out for our students and our families to view. It also helps us guide what is it that's going on in our classrooms, so that if we have a co-teacher, an administrator, a coach, somebody who also needs to be able to see what's going on, to be able to support learning in your classroom, to support other students, that's the kind of content we really do want to see in your Blackboard courses. And that's what the Blackboard Checklist 2.0 really outlines for you. So more information to come from your administrative team, but understand that this is the document that will largely be guiding what is being put into our classes, grades 6 through 12, in the upcoming years. With all of that said, we know we have a recording that'll be made available, and so we can share this with you later. There are going to be lots of opportunities to learn more about Blackboard Ultra. The Blackboard Ultra 101, 102, and 103 courses are now online for TDP, so you can certainly start to sign up for them. We've been on hold with those as we've gotten ready with the new Blackboard stuff, so those are coming online this year, and you'll be able to take courses that will help you learn that. Also, I'm sure we will have more topics at Winter Institute. You'll see us at professional learning and opportunities to learn in your schools. So more to come. And if you are somebody who's diving in with Blackboard Ultra, feel free to reach out to us at any point. We're happy to help you. We are learning as well, but we will certainly move through it. And we're hearing lots of people say very positive things about the clean interface, the updated tools. So we think you're going to enjoy that. Great question. Katie just asked a question. Hey, when I click on my sandbox, it keeps going to classic mode. Let's deal with that really quickly. Do you have any that are in tradish? Okay.
Just have it for to AP World History West.
Okay, AP World History West. I'm going to turn over to Brianna so she can navigate her space. So this is part of a larger conversation while she's finding that. So we talked about, Kristen talked about phase 1 was moving to the Ultra interface. Phase 2 is really preparing courses to be converted to Ultra. And then really the final phase of that is converting it to Ultra as well. So if you have asked for your courses to be converted to Ultra, or you've created a new course this year, you might think, where is my Ultra class? Why doesn't it look like the Ultra thing that you all did? So go ahead, you could show.
So as it opens up, the first thing that you have to do is lock your course or make it unavailable. So by toggling the little lock up here, you're now going to be able to see a little pencil icon. This pencil icon is experience the new Ultra or the new Learn. You can say, try the Ultra class view, and it's going to take a second and convert your class. This is a temporary conversion where you get to preview what your class looks like in Ultra without fully committing to that conversion. When you do eventually decide that you want to keep it in Ultra, so for example, your sandbox course you would like in Ultra, there is no going back to that classic. So this is really more relevant for the classes that you are choosing to preview, but might be live with students that you're not sure you want to fully transition over.
As a side note, if you are working in that preview mode, you will have the ability to edit things, but we just want to let you know that whatever content you build when you're just in the preview mode of an Ultra course is not going to stick when you go back to the Classic course. So if you're ready to start building, you really want to make sure that you have said, okay, let's actually transition this course and I'm not going back to Classic, because if you build things in the preview Ultra course, they will disappear the second that you go back to your Classic course. But you at least have the ability to look at what it's going to look like.
So this process does take a little bit to click and wait for it to convert, especially if there are items already in your course. Items with less will obviously take less time to convert. When it does convert, it will have that same view that you saw earlier in the video of Ultra View. The difference will be down at the bottom, there will be a little running banner that will give you the option to keep Ultra or go back to Classic. Great question.
Great question. Yeah. And just note, once you do make that conversion, that's permanent. There is no going back once you made the final, yes, I commit. So if there's any wavering, it'd be better to reach out to one of us and roll from there. Also, if you have courses that you want to convert, note that there was an email that went out early August, mid-August from Steve Schloman that just talks about how to convert your courses. But primarily, you are going to copy the URL. You're going to open a support desk ticket and you'll be asking for a conversion to Ultra. We'll get your course ready, and then you'll need to do the steps that Brianna just outlined to actually do the final conversion.
All right, well, that is a very kind of quick overview of the new interface of Ultra and what you have the capability to be able to do this year and to be working on. We have strategically chosen to make this transition over a kind of a long runway so that you have the time to build your skills and to gain the knowledge that you're going to need to be able to be successful in building an Ultra. So you have time this year to start slow and maybe perhaps transition a course at a time and work at your own leisure with the support of all three of us, both in district-wide professional development, but also at your building level. So if you are feeling like you need some one-on-one support, I know that the three of us are scheduled to come to your buildings throughout the next couple of weeks and to work with you. I will be at Les Paul tomorrow afternoon. So if you are struggling with any of that content and how you get started or getting your shells or creating classes, no worries, you're not behind the ball. We will get you caught up and we will be here to support you throughout this phase 3 of transitioning to Ultra. So we thank you very much for your time today. We look forward to working with all of you and we hope that you have a really amazing start to the year. So thank you so much.
You've got just a little bit of time before we transition over to the next session. Now would be a great time to update that profile photo and just start building some of the key resources that might be helpful as you're learning how to use your sandbox.